Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar. My name is Ian Rogan. I'm the MBA Program Director, and just really excited to have you join us from all over the world today to hear about one of the most important parts of your MBA experience, which is your career development. When I think about the MBA at Oxford, we do, I think, aspire to do more than just merely have our MBAs find jobs. We want MBAs who are going to find great jobs and have great careers, but do so in a manner that enables them to actually have an impact on the broader society within which we work. And I think we do that a variety of ways. I think when you look at the Oxford MBA experience, first and foremost, we're going to provide you with an excellent foundation in the business fundamentals, so the MBA toolkit. But beyond that, if we think about the state of the world today and what we really think a world-class MBA program or an Oxford MBA really should come away with, it's understanding that broader contextual environment within sort of the society within which business takes place. And we do that through our connections to the university, we do that through GoTo, we do that through our electives, we do that through any number of ways through your experience here. And with that lofty ambition to tackle world scale challenges and to try to have MBA graduates who not only will do financially well, but will actually do good, MBA graduates who understand how to work in the private sector, but also how to work with the private sector. But just basically MBA graduates who want to leverage the private sector to be a force for good. I put my idealist hat on, that's our goal, but realistically, that's going to happen through your jobs. And that's why it's really important that we have a world-class career development offering for you. So just really pleased to have Stuart Jagot, our Director of Career Services or Career Development, here joining you today. Stuart's going to just give you an overview of his vision for our Career Development Office, which has grown a great deal in the past couple of years, a little bit of what you can expect during your time here. Thank you to those of you who've provided questions in advance. Stuart will address those. And then for those of you who have not sent in questions but do have questions you'd like to share, towards the end of our webinar, you'll have an opportunity to do so, and you should see on your screen a box for submitting questions. If I could just ask a favor, if you can try to have those questions be questions that have a little bit more of a general appeal for the entire audience, that would be best because we want to prioritize those. For any more individually focused questions, feel free to reach out to us either afterward or even you can submit them during the call, but we'll take those and try to follow up with you on a case-by-case basis for questions that are more specifically focused to you as an individual. So with that, thank you very much again for joining us. And Stuart, welcome.
Thanks, Ian. Thanks for the introduction. Hello, everybody. My name's Stuart Jagot. I'm the Director of Career Development here at Oxford Said. I've met many of you on the interview day that we've been running over the last 3 months or so, where we've been running a session on your purpose and your MBA. It was great to meet you there, and I've met a number of you terrific MBA candidates that I very much look forward to meeting you and working with you in September. So really exciting time. Our vision, let's start with the vision of our Career Development Centre. And it's a centre that we've built over the last 18 months. And our vision is very much about inspiring the Oxford community to really embrace lifelong career development. We focus on your career development beyond your MBA journey. That's what makes us a little different. We have, whilst your post-graduation job is very important to me, to our team, what is actually, I would argue, even more important is what the next 3 to 5 years look like for you, and those job changes and promotions that you're going to go through over the next 3 to 5 years. We have a whole executive careers team dedicated to supporting your development, led by a colleague of mine called David Beatty and Maria Dooley, and some external consultants. So today we're very much going to focus on the short term, where we're going to share some headlines of the MBA employment report from 17-18, and then talk to the start of your career development program that kicks off on the 6th of June. We're also going to ask us some questions towards the end of this call. But what are the 3 takeaways? I thought I'd kick off with 3 takeaways that I think are important to our school, and I think important to you. So I was delighted to be asked to come on this webinar. The first takeaway is that the global MBA market is a solid market. The global MBA market is in growth in tech careers, it's in growth in Asia, and the consulting market globally is still very strong, despite the challenges that we face here in the UK right now. Secondly, early careers preparation and experimentation is key. So through this call, I will talk to some of the work that you can start to prepare for your MBA journey in September, that we're officially launching in June, because we believe successful career transitions typically take up to 15 months or longer, which is why we start the program in June. We're also going to share with you the headlines of the employment outcomes for MBA 2017-18. And my ask here is that we're going to share these in confidence with you. This is confidential preliminary data that we're about to share on the next slide. The University of Oxford is a magical educational kingdom. I'm looking at Ian now. We have 40 colleges. It truly is a unique experience, the Oxford MBA. But in performing and doing your MBA, you will not graduate from this institution till the following autumn of 2020. And the prior class didn't graduate until the November of 2018, which means there is a knock-on with the infamous processes we run through at the school to validate the passing of your degree. Our MBA 2017-18 class were not awarded their degrees until November, which is why there's a slight knock-on in publishing our results in the market. So that's the reason why. What I'm now going to do is just present a one-slide summary. My ask is that whilst these are only shared to you in confidence, my ask is please do not share these on social media. They are specifically to you. What we will do is make these slides available through the, I think, password protected post-offer portal, so you can access them again. But please do not share these slides. They are confidential to you. And that's because we are going to be launching these to the market like last year in the first week of June, with some great features and career transition stories of our MBA alums that we are just starting the process of interviewing them to include an employment report. So, I mean, the headline takeaway is that the global MBA market and the Oxford MBA is a solid, well-performing MBA program. The headline is that our MBA 17-18 class, by taking ownership and driving their careers, achieved a high employment rate of 92%. That you'll find is a market-leading one-year European employment rate, and that's down to the hard work and success of our MBA 2017-18 class across a range of careers. I mean, that's what I love about Oxford. That's what brought me to Oxford, is the breadth of career paths in your course. We specialise and focus on diversity, whether it's diversity of background, diversity of career path, diverse of subject interest and expertise. You can see in terms of the results on this slide, the overall mean salary for the MBA 17-18 class was £72,618, slightly up on the prior year class that was just over 71,000. And you can also see there the mean salaries for the 4 broad segments we work with. Of course, we break these down into sectors. More information will be available in the employment report. But our finance students, the mean salary there was £74,000 across a range of finance career paths, right the way through from IBD through to fintech. Consulting, there was a £6,000 increase to £77,000. Social impact, there was a £5,000 increase up to 68. Global industry stayed flat at about £70,000, with a significant growth in tech careers, giving an overall mean salary of 72,000. How does that play in terms of the class? In terms of the career destinations by sector, you can see a breakdown there. So global industry takes 40% of our job-seeking students. Again, that breaks down to about between 23 and 25% are focused on tech careers in global industry. A solid 27% of our students go into finance careers, 23% into consulting, and 10% into social impact. What we can see looking at this data is that the Oxford MBA remains strong, and down to the hard work and dedication of our brilliant MBA 17-18 students. They deliver some really strong employment outcomes, which is why we're really keen to capture their success in the employment report. So that gives you a snapshot of the MBA 17-18 outcomes. What I will do is I'll take questions on that at the end on the employment outcomes. I think what's really key to move on to is looking at how those students drove their career transition. Because what's really important is that you build solid foundations across the summer. We kick off our career development program on the Thursday, the 6th of June. We're going to run a couple of sessions, one in the morning GMT, one in the late afternoon GMT, so we can cover both those on the eastern side of the globe, looking from a London perspective, and the west side of the globe. And we can kick off our program with our senior team. What will you need to build? So whether you're accelerating through your existing sector and function and really using your MBA to get a promotion, or whether you're pivoting to new beginnings, successful MBA job seekers really arrive having worked on their career planning over the summer with 4 things. And I wanted to really talk to this now to help your preparation. Firstly, very high levels of personal drive, ownership, awareness, and resilience. And if I maybe just perhaps focus on the awareness, over the summer, what we're going to be asking you to do in the webinar on the 6th of June is really to start to reflect on who you are, reflect on your strengths, your underlying motivations, and start your research on the marketplace, what your strengths are and what the needs are, specific job roles and firms, what's of value. After the 6th of June, actually kicking off on the 7th of June, we launch our MBA Careers Academy of 4 modules, 4 online modules to get you started. And you'll also be hearing on that Thursday, the 6th of June, from my team members. So you'll be hearing from John Madrick, our Head of Finance Careers, on the Finance Careers Programme. You'll be hearing from Sarah Pratt on Consulting Careers, the Consulting Development Programme. And you'll be hearing from Tom Lawrence, our Head of Global Industry Careers and Impact Careers, on his programme. Now, through June, they'll also be running a series of webinars specifically tailored to those sectors. But the good news is, to help kickstart that programme, we have a whole digital programme called the MBA Careers Academy that starts on the 7th of June. And one of your first tasks will be to craft your career narrative, your career story, your pitch, so you can start your research and get networking over the summer. You're going to have to develop your compelling evidence of work experience and transferable skill sets to build into your pitch, your career narrative, your CV, and your career documentation. We're actually going to ask you to develop your CV so it's ready by August, so we can include it in our CV books that we send to the blue chip employers in early September. And as well as working on that insightful career narrative, we're going to be challenging you through the Careers Academy digital program to really get a clear sense, not just of your strengths, but your potential skills and knowledge gaps, and to develop your personal development plan. So you've written that before you come to start your program on the 23rd of September. And I'd like to think that's what sets us apart. As well as your career development journey apart, we actually take a really broad view and a long-term view of that career path. And that starts with personal development planning over the summer to set you up for success for when you arrive. We've got a really exciting program there of leadership skills sessions and of a personality diagnostic, and that differentiates Sci Business School a little bit. We'll be talking to that more on the 6th of June. So this is what you're going to need to build over the summer. We kickstart that on the 6th of June. So the next key question is, why start in June? Why start in June 2019? You might be wishing to take a break. You've worked really hard. You're working long hours. You want to take a rest before your one-way stretch, your 1 year stretching MBA. Why do you want to start then? Well, the key thing is MBA programs are typically 12 months, 15 to 18 months, or 2 years. And by opting to choose and invest in a 1-year MBA program, we recognise that many career transitions actually take about 15 months, which is why we start in June, to bring you in on track to secure success from the September of 2020. So you can utilise the summer to conduct your research, to start your networking and building reciprocal relationships. What that does is it takes some pressure off. When you get to Oxford, you're going to want to enjoy Oxford. You're going to get to know your college, build your friendships, learn from colleagues, faculty, start networking with alumni, and take up new events, sports, and just enjoy the Oxford experience. If you don't do some preparation before you come, you're going to have a lot to do in that Michaelmas term. You're going to want to gain insights for your applications and start to develop your CV or cover letter. You know, the bar has gone up at the MBA level. You're going to need to build in those skill sets the employers want. You're going to need to build in your problem-solving evidence, your leadership evidence, your drive and your impact. All that needs to be built into your applications, and that needs to start from June. We know many of you are clear in where you want to go. Many of you are coming to business school for a very clear purpose, but there's a group of you on this call that will typically be either a little unclear or only have a high level view of your career direction. So we cater for your needs specifically from June when we kick off our Careers Academy. We will be launching over the summer a Career Reflections module that will take you through a set of exercises to really help you get underneath and clarify your motivations and your strengths. And then finally, we'll be running a range of sessions, as I say, from June, that will include a session from our new interactive lecture theatre that we call The Hive, as well as a series of webinars and online learning that get going from the 6th of June. So the work's coming. We're keen to just give you a heads up of when you'll be busy from. But that's why we need to start in June 2019, and that's because of the transitions typically are longer than 12 months. They typically take about 15 months or so. So how do we support you? Now, you will drive your career development program. We work to do 3 things essentially. We work to we run a career foundations program of core career skills at the MBA level. We bring employers to campus. We're bringing employers to campus across Wednesday evenings, but really Thursday evenings and Fridays, particularly majoring on Thursday evenings and Fridays from October. And we also run a talent development program to close those leadership skills gaps, as well as a consulting development program. So our blended approach, let's summarize this slide, kicks off on 6th of June with the pre-arrival program that we call the Oxford Saïd Careers Academy, as well as the consulting development program. We then run 3 programs that really kick off when you're on campus, particularly from week commencing the 30th of September. You'll get to Oxford Monday the 23rd when we start our MBA. You'll have a week's worth of immersion and orientation experiences with our faculty and what it means to be an Oxonian and to be an MBA candidate here. The second week, from week commencing the 30th of September, we'll be focusing on your leadership and career skills. And from that moment, we'll be kicking off our Career Foundations program and our Consulting Development program. Weaving through Michaelmas term, Hilary and Trinity term, we kick off our Talent Development program. Now, bottom left of that slide, you'll see that through Michaelmas term, we'll be focusing on some core leadership skills in Michaelmas term, such as presentation skills, coaching and feedback, and creative problem solving. But we're also going to be focusing on offering you a one-to-one executive coaching experience to help polish your personal development plan. We'll then offer more skill sessions through late Hilary and Trinity to really set you up for success for the summer of 2020. So that's the headline. On the left-hand side, the Career Development Centre will be running 3 things: a Career Foundations program, a Consulting Development program, and our Talent Development program. That's supplemented by what's on the right-hand side of that program. As well as your MBA program, we run a co-curricular program, and I'm using the language of the current year So there might be a little bit of change for the following year, but we run an Oxford side finance lab. We've run a digital marketing pathway this year that will look to change. We're looking at changing the label of that to include more data analytics for your cohort coming, which we're really excited about. So there'll be a data analytics and digital marketing pathway that we're planning. We still haven't signed the name off. We're going to be running a very successful trading floor simulation weekend, which we compete. Oxford Said MBAs will compete against Cambridge Judge MBAs. We'll be running an impact investing boot camp. The Impact Lab run by our Skoll Centre for Social Entrepreneurship will run again. And we have a fantastic entrepreneurship offering run by our Entrepreneurship Centre and Professor Thomas Hellman. So you have a significant MBA journey experience of the curriculum, the co-curriculum, and these 3 flagship programs from the Career Development Centre. What is the issue is time. You're choosing to do a 1-year MBA. It's a packed 1 year, which is why we asked you to start in June. So that's our blended approach. Now, happy to take some questions on that at the end of the talk. I think in particular, what makes our program a little bit different is our talent development program that we run by working with and interviewing our leading employers. By partnering with our leadership faculty here at the school, we've come up with a leadership framework of 4 leadership themes, which we believe top talent that is promoted and goes on to deliver success, really has these as strengths. And we've organised those themes into grow, empower, influence, and deliver. And you can see here, this is this year's programme. We're not planning a significant departure, but through the course of the MBA journey, we're planning to run skill sessions, typically that start in Michaelmas term, that will also involve some Friday delivery through your programme, so that as you jump into the market next summer, either on an internship for credit, and as you start your full-time roles in September 2020, you've had the opportunity to really develop both your career skills and your leadership skills. So not just your graduating role, but to start to prepare your thinking also for your second role. Because I say what's important to us is your second and third year role, the promotions that will follow. So happy to take questions on that at the end. So I know I've been talking now for about 15 minutes. I'm just going to pause to just give you the takeaways, just to join that, pull that all together, and then really start with some questions that have been sent through in advance. If you we'll go to the next slide. So I think the headline is that the global MBA market, the global MBA employment market, is a solid market despite the difficult UK market conditions. The UK is in a difficult place right now. However, we're seeing from the hiring and from the MBA 17-18 employment outcomes, a lot of good roles, a lot of well-paid roles come late in the MBA experience. And that market is still solid. Clearly, we're seeing, like many markets around the world, we're seeing a growth in tech, we're seeing a growth in Asia, and we're still seeing a strong consulting market. The second key thing is that career transitions really require action and experimentation. They require an open mind to be creative. They require high levels of personal drive, resilience, and time. So you're going to have to work really hard. If you're choosing to do an MBA, time is the essence. You need to work really high and have what's called a high locus of control. You're going to have high degrees of personal responsibility. The entrepreneurs, successful consultants and bankers that come on an MBA really get this, and they from day one, this is very straightforward to them. If you're career transitioning and you're looking to have your hand held and looking to be drip fed, any MBA program now at a Western school is going to be really tough for you. Because you need to drive your own career path. Now, the good news is we've put together a program that we believe provides not just the inspiration, but the support and the one-to-one coaching to help you move through that transition. We offer 3 coaching programs, for example. We offer a one-to-one career coaching program. We offer a one-to-one executive coaching on your leadership skills. And we offer, that's fairly unique to MBAs, a one-to-one personal development planning conversation that includes the personality diagnostic through NEO. That's a really competitive one-to-one coaching offering, and it continues when you're alums. You continue to gain access as alum in one-to-one career coaching. So to be really clear, you're going to have to drive your career transition, but you're not alone. We are here to support you, and we invest in coaching, and we're going to continue to invest in that fantastic offer, which is what we start off. We start off with you on the 6th of June, where we encourage you to, start your research, start your networking, start your preparation, and we'll be kicking off with a Careers Academy program on Friday, the 7th of June. Do look out for the joining instructions. So there was the headlines. We've had 5 questions in advance, and based off the motivation, thank you for the 5 that have sent questions in over the last couple of days before today. I was going to go to them first to reward their endeavour. I've actually got 5 questions to ask. And what I'm going to do is answer the questions that are generic or themed questions, and not answer individual questions. I've had a very individual question sent through about a particular employer in the tech sector. I'm going to ask our head of global industry careers, Tom Lawrence, to pick that up with the individual that sent that question in. There's a very individual answer. I'm going to ask the rest of the question. So bear with me. I'm going to call out the question and give a brief answer. So first question in the order they've come in on. Some of the incoming students choose to do an MBA because they want to change fields completely. However, certain fields, sectors or functions recruit MBA graduates with previous experience in the same or very related fields. Examples are private equity and investment banking. What advice can you offer, and what help can the school offer to someone who wants to transition into such fields but does not have the conventional background? Great first question. And this very much does depend on the individual and the context. Maybe if you choose private equity, let's just start from a market perspective. The world-class private equity firms, the market leaders, like to hire private equity associates that typically have one of 3 backgrounds, unless you're very special and very connected. And those one of 3 backgrounds are private equity, investment banking M&A roles, or strategy consulting from a top 10 strategy consulting firm that's specialized in financial services. And also they sometimes take, big 4 transaction services talent. So they have a typically very fixed, elitist view of the talent and where they source that talent from. However, and whilst it is very challenging to break into private equity, if you've got some transferable skills and strengths that resonate with those skill sets, and you have modeling and valuation expertise, and you've worked on deals, and you're financially fluent, and you're using your MBA to transition, and if you're going to spend, quite frankly, a lot of time in London and networking in the financial centres, if you're looking back to New York or to Hong Kong, if you're going to invest your year networking in that space, it has been known, and a handful of students are successful in each class in getting into private equity in smaller firms where they're very flexible and have a very open mind. And that involves them typically going to work into smaller roles that pay less money, or alternatively smaller firms. So it is possible to break into private equity. It's very challenging, it's very difficult. They're very flexible in the roles that they succeed in, and typically take lower rates of pay, almost a large analyst role. But very clear, for the top private equity firms, they're looking for a background in either PE, investment banking, or strategy consulting. So it is tough. So therefore, from the 6th of June, you need to get researching, networking, develop your key narrative, get networking, and really invest single-mindedly in that search. You would also not have a fear of missing out, because you would be missing out on by taking that approach, other magical things that are happening in Oxford, and you'd have to have the personality that was prepared to do that. So very challenging, but possible. But you need to have the transferable skills and strengths and be able to tell that story, and be flexible with the firm that you end up in. So that's the first question. Second question, how does the Career Centre partner with the Finance Lab and the Consulting Development Programme? Quick answer here. Our Career Development Centre, we've got a big finance team here. So our consulting careers team of John Madgwick, Ben Leslie, and Sean partners with our Finance Lab director, John Gilligan, and they partner together in running the Finance Lab. John Gilligan is the director of the Finance Lab. He reports into our finance faculty. We've got a world-class finance faculty, very strong finance faculty. So the Finance Lab is run out of the finance faculty department, but it partners very closely with our finance careers team, and they work together in bringing finance employers to the school. In terms of the Consulting Development Programme, that is run directly at the Career Development Centre by Sarah Pratt, Maria Dooley, and we've got a new career coach starting in 2 weeks' time. I won't give his name yet, as he's yet to start, but delighted to say there'll be a team of 3 running that programme from 2 weeks' time. Our new career coach joins us. But that Consulting Development Programme is run by Sarah Pratt. You'll hear from Sarah on the 6th of June. Next question, can you please speak to the current strategy regarding consulting companies recruiting from SBS? Well, we have a broad range of, companies recruiting from SBS. It's not just the strategy consulting firms, it goes into the Big Four and into the impact space. So there is a breadth of firms. I think to simplify this answer, and Sarah will talk to this more in June, is we've worked successfully with McKinsey, Bain and BCG to create more of a tailored Oxford or Oxbridge recruiting programme, and to move it back from the autumn, when you only just arrive and start your programme on the 23rd of September, to move their application dates and their interviewing to January. You need time to develop your case skills to be up to speed for McKinsey, Bain and BCG. We've been able to work with Bain, McKinsey and BCG to create bespoke timelines for our school, and to move those timelines from a school-centric perspective back to January 2020. It's something we agree with them every summer, so that is still yet to agree, but we agreed it last year. They obviously run global campaigns at other schools that start globally from late September, October, but we also have for the current MBA class, we've managed to run a January program. So that is a good outcome for Side Business School. Obviously, there are other top 10 strategy consulting firms we work with, like EY, OTS, Partner, LEK, that typically hire on more traditional, conventional strategy consulting recruitment timelines that start from the October. So you will need to get going. If you're shooting for strategy consulting, you need a fast start, which is why we launch a consulting development program in the June, to get you underway, to understand the market, develop your CV, and to start prepare your case skills. Okay, next question. It was mentioned during the webinar that the latest employment report will be released at some point, hopefully soon. When will this be released? Well, the full employment report will be launched in June. What we're currently doing is we are about to start interviewing the successful career transition stories. We have our MBA 17-18 class was fantastic. They really drove their careers. We've got lots of broad stories. We're a broad MBA right the way through from investment banking and strategy consulting, right the way from governmental, charity, global industry and tech careers. We've got a really exciting story to tell. We launched the full report in June. We've shared today the headline results. We've got some good results with a very strong 1-year MBA employment rate. But the full report will be shared in June. that's when it's coming. There'll be more to follow then. It'll be shared by the website, and we'll obviously put the full employment. We'll make that easily available to you. So I'll pick up with the recruitment team and think about how we make that available to you. It'll be on the school's website, but we'll also put it on we can put it on the portal for the admissions portal. Question number 5, then we'll throw it open. Is there any preparation before starting the MBA that can help me get the most from working with the Career Development Centre? Well, I would say if you're thinking about a career transition and you're thinking of pivoting your career, I would recommend, there's a number of books you can read, but the key book that I would flag to read was in the 3 takeaways, was the book written by Professor Herminia Ibarra. Professor Herminia Ibarra is a career transitions and networking authority on careers, published her research when she was at INSEAD. She's written a couple of books, but the book to read is Working Identity. And it gives some empirical research through qualitative case studies for how career transitions actually work. And they actually work for empirical research, according to Ibarra, around taking action, experimenting, crafting your own experiments before the MBA, during your MBA, and actually crafting your own experiences and projects to get close to the network, to get close to employers, to get close to entrepreneurs. Career transformation breakthrough, from the Ibarra viewpoint, doesn't take place typically in a room with either your MBA peers or in a coaching context. I would argue it happens with both. It happens with taking action. It takes place in your MBA class. It takes place in a leadership skills program. It takes place in one-to-one career coaching. It's that blend that the Oxford side offer. But I think if you're thinking about a career pivot, I would say read Working Identity by Professor Herminia Ibarra as your start point, and then you'll have access to the Careers Academy from June to really start developing your career narrative. If you want to get going before then, I would say start thinking about your strengths and motivations and start doing your research, start to understand the market, look for what employers are hiring for, and start to network in warm places. Where can I start to network? Offer reciprocity, something you can offer your network, keep them up to date and keep your contacts warm. And to keep them updated, what can you offer them to help you learn? So think about it from your network's perspective to help you learn. Can you start running informational interviews where you reach out for coffee conversations to ask some questions about what's happening in the business and what the key leadership or talent challenges that they have? Start to underpick what the core business needs are and effectively start to work like a recruiter. Where is the growth and what can you offer, and particularly what you can help your network, because it takes time to build networks. That's what you could start doing before June if you're eager to get going. But I would say don't go too senior and don't take too many risks at this stage, because you want to go with that network with a well-developed narrative. Now I think we can, they were the questions sent in advance. Thank you for those. Now we've got some time for some questions to take that have been sent in. Okay, great questions. Good day. Thank you for hosting the webinar. If not addressed during the webinar, what would be the best way to ascertain which companies will be participating in on-campus recruiting this coming year? So obviously it's currently April. We are currently working across all our degree program classes, working with the students, and we're starting to talk to our leading employers. We typically sit down with our employers to ask them how this current recruitment cycle has gone and what their needs are for the current cycle. So every career centre will be in that planning process, and actually as yet typically won't have nailed down agreed dates for Michaelmas term. What I can, to leave you with confidence, is this process kicks off and runs between May and September. Last year, our enlarged team, we've grown our team from a team of 7 in the Career Development Centre to a team of 20. Last year, we brought more employers to campus than ever before. 69 blue chip employers came to campus for MBA 2018-19 through our work across our different teams. So it's something we're very focused on. So I can't be specific. Of course, we have a clear sense of what the prior recruiting history here is at Said. We know who the employers are, we know their relationships. We will bring as many of those blue chip firms to campus as want to come. What I would say is the MBA market is solid. We've got a good track record. We've got some confident employment results, and I'm anticipating no major changes for your class coming in this autumn 2019. So that will be finalised between May and August. Obviously, by speaking to some of the recruitment teams now, they wouldn't want to talk to us right now about dates because they're still making offers. We haven't completed the last cycle yet. So it's a great question, just a little early. Great question from Nikita. Forgive me for calling that name out. Great question here. What does the global industry mean comprise of? So thank you for the question that's come in. We have a mean salary. So the overall MBA mean salary for going across all career paths is 72,600. The global industry mean, what that covers is the main industry sectors of tech, industrials, FMCG, healthcare, energy, and the other sectors that roll up into those categories. Typically, global industry includes everything that isn't finance, consulting, or social impact related. There will be a more clearer breakdown, but the biggest sectors in global industry are tech, industrials, FMCG, energy, and healthcare. Thank you for that. Okay, is it feasible to enroll in the Finance Lab and Consulting Development Program co-curricular activities in terms of sessions? Great question. So thank you for the question. So the question, I'll just call it out maybe more clearly. Can I enroll in and perform and participate in both the Finance Lab and the Consulting Development Program? Well, the good news is the two programs, they're different programs with different goals. And this is where I will check in on just the purpose of the programs first, because it's very stretching to commit to both. The Finance Lab is designed to help you become an effective corporate financier. That helps you focus on a number of things. Also, it helps build your financial modelling and valuation skill set, amongst other things. The Consulting Development Program raises your awareness of consulting careers with a strategy consulting viewpoint and gets you ready for consulting selection, and emphasizes major on how consultants think in a very structured way and prepares you for case interviews. The good news is that the Consulting Development Program is open to all MBAs on a first come, first served basis, and you typically have to sign up on time and commit and attend those sessions. So to do both is very, very stretching, and I'll challenge you to focus on what your career plan is and what your purpose is. But it's possible. The Finance Lab you have to apply to and you are selected on. The Consulting Development Program is open, rolls through Michaelmas term and Hillary term, and is really designed to prepare you for success in selection in the consulting industry, especially for strategy consulting. So check in on your purpose, but there are different programs, or typically often run on different days, okay? And that's our aim for this class. We haven't finalised that yet, but we're aiming to run them on different days so they don't clash wherever possible. Okay, so some great question here. Firstly, on the digital marketing pathway. So we're really lucky to have a really strong global industry team led by Tom Lawrence, who was lucky enough to headhunt and poach from Amazon. Tom has a team of 4 working for him, and Tom partners very closely with Andrew Stephen, who's a brilliant faculty member who leads on research and is our lead marketing faculty member and one of the most respected global authorities on marketing. Together, under the leadership of Professor Andrew Stephen, with the support of Tom Lawrence and our global industry team, we run the digital marketing pathway that's very closely connected with our marketing taught core courses and elective courses. What we're doing is we're expanding that to not only cover marketing core teaching and the marketing skill sets by partnering with a leading digital marketing training firm called General Assembly. They're a market leader. We're also offering and building into that pathway technical skill sets that are needed by the world's great employers. So we are running the second iteration right now on SQL training for our MBAs. We're doing 2 rounds of SQL training or SQL training, depending on what territory you're from, because for certain global industry firms, for Amazon, certain banks, you need to be proficient in SQL. We're running product management training as part of that program, and we're running some different technical training under the banner of data analysis and digital marketing for your cohort. This year, we're also currently about to run some Tableau training, for example. So you can think about, we're putting 2 broad things together: data analysis, digital marketing, and some technical training, SQL, Tableau, etc. Many of you don't have that and will want to build that skill set. So that is factored into our data analysis, digital marketing pathway that will typically run on Thursday evenings and Fridays. What we're planning, and I believe it's open. I believe it's open to all. There'll be more to follow on that. I believe it is open to all. Okay, great question. What kind of companies within social impact sector come to the campus to recruit? Great question. So in essence, to simplify this, our finance careers team brings in the impact investment firms and some of the supranationals in that space. Our consulting careers team brings in some of the impact consulting firms such as Dalberg, subject to their recruitment plans. Our global industry team, our career coach for impact, social impact, will then bring in global industry firms that fundamentally have impact and responsibility built into their business, as well as leading foundations and not-for-profits. There'll be more to follow that in the global industry webinar that we run in June. So we break it down into those 3, but obviously we see the growth. We see the growth of impact careers covering actually all businesses, particularly in that global industry career area, which is often where we find is where the resources are and where the well-paid jobs are. But we play to all those across that spectrum here at Oxford. The talent development program is in its first year coming up. No, it's been running in its current form. This is going to be its 3rd year, so we built on it. We keep adding to it. As I say, so we're passionate about the talent development program. We keep adding to it. We're investing time on Fridays for our talent development program. And actually, it's fundamental to career transitions and our MBA program journey. So it is a differentiator. I would challenge you to perhaps come on the front. But I think this does differentiate the Oxford MBA. I am obviously biased, but I don't think you'd find such a big program at some of our other I guess schools that we compete with. Next question. Okay. Let's scroll. Okay, with regard to recent employment data, have you seen increased demand from companies across industries located in Africa? I think we're seeing some marginal growth in Africa. I think Africa differentiates our MBA. I think there's extraordinary commitment to Africa from the University of Oxford level, our dean and our school, the amazing Africa Business Forum that's been recently run here. I would say there is a little growth in employers seeking to hire in Africa. I would turn that round. It ultimately depends on where our talented MBA class wants to go to work. Often we see, to give an example, whilst from folks from all over the world have the opportunity to go to work in Africa, we often see many Africans seeking to work in the US, in Western Europe and Asia before returning to Africa. So we see it both ways, global cohorts from different continents going to Africa and Africa's returning to Africa. So there is some growth. It's not transformational, but there is some growth, and there's growing awareness about the opportunities in Africa, which the school actually invests in from the dean. Good question. Hi there, Stuart. Would you say that you provide one-to-one coaching for alums? Great question. Is there a cut-off point after a couple of, a couple of years? Here's the crazy thing. And the thing that I'm really proud of, we currently offer one-to-one career coaching to our Oxford side alumni. We're a young school, we're a growing school. At some point we will need to review it. It's not on the agenda soon, but we offer one-to-one career coaching when our alumni get in touch, typically where they've got promotions, interviews, or they just want to talk something through. We offer one-to-one career coaching led by David Beatty and Maria Dooley. So that is currently uncapped, not restricted. To be very clear on priority, my current priority right now is to the class in motion. That will transition to all the classes, whether it's our MSc classes, our MBA classes, our MBA classes, when they're with us. We also heavily prioritise our MBA for the first 2 years. So if subject to capacity, we get questions, we get requests from MBA alums and other alums that are further out. We will see all of you. We will schedule one-to-ones with that whole group. But you'll be reassured to know that if you're a recently graduated MBA alum, we would put you first. Okay, just looking at Ian in terms of, have we got time for one more, Ian?
Probably time for one more question, and then we probably should.
Okay, I've got some really broad questions here, and we've got some very individual. Can you scroll back down? Mm-hmm. There's an interesting question here, which scroll back down, Amy. We've done those questions. You can keep scrolling down. Okay. Stuart, can you give some examples of the career path that students typically go on? From I'm confused between impact careers, global industry careers, and consulting careers. And I can genuinely say that the Oxford MBA is the broadest MBA program I'm aware of in Western Europe. I joined because of that reason. I was at 6 years at London Business School between 2010 and 2016. It's directly relevant to this question because I focus very heavily on finance and consulting careers because that was the focus of the school. The Oxford there is enormous career breadth across consulting, finance, global industry careers broken down, as we said, into tech, industrials, FMCG, healthcare, energy, marketing careers, into the social impact space, into governmental, non-governmental charities and foundations. As a result of which, because of that breadth, which interests me and my team, we don't have very high numbers compared to other institutions. I mean, let's just name it. INSEAD Careers has the current class, into the outgoing class, and half the class has gone into consulting, because INSEAD is known as the consulting school. At Oxford Saïd, we invest in all careers, the breadth of careers, because that's our focus, because we believe, like the vision of our school, impact only comes from top talent working across all careers and transitioning across all careers, from industry to government to not-for-profit careers. The world's big problems are only solved through transitions that you will make across those three spaces. So there's genuinely a broad set of careers, which makes it very individual, that makes it your journey, which is why we kick off in June with a webinar that you will then hear quickly from each of our teams in June, to give you more of a flavour of what we bring to campus, and also the research that you're going to have to do in reaching out to employers. Okay, so more to follow. What I say, we'll be sharing, I'm aware we're still getting some questions just coming in, some questions just come through now. We've run out of time. What I'm going to do is I'll build that into the June call that we run in, actually. We'll build some of those questions into the June 6th call. If you have an absolutely burning question that is pivotal for you coming to this school, I would say send that into the recruitment team, and we'll triage that as important. If it's a question about your genuine uncertainty, when that comes with doing an MBA, if you have a pivotal question, do send it in, and we'll build that into that triage. The thematic questions, again, we'll take from today that we haven't got to, we'll build into our 6th of June call. Ian.
So thank you very much, Stuart, and thank you all of you for joining us today. Depending on what time you're on the world, good evening, good morning. We will look at the questions you submit as well and do our best to try to get back to you on those. Particularly if there's anything really pressing, definitely reach out, because we are here to try to answer those for you. So thank you again. I look forward to continuing the conversation, and very much look forward to welcoming you all here in Oxford in September. Thank you.